This is,
Dang it.
by the way, this is Mom's favorite dance move. Alright, so we decided we want to make this a message to baby Bodhi. Can you show them the belly?
It's a Bodhi.
So Bodhi, one day you're gonna see this, and the purpose of this video is to show you and tell you all the things that most likely you won't know what it is, because it won't exist. Well,
Most likely, it won't exist.
Yeah, at least to us, we don't think it's gonna exist for you. So yeah.
But we may keep some for you to have.
And also because we can't let it go. That's the real
That's
truth.
the real truth of
Real
it.
truth of it. Yeah. Okay, so let us begin. We're just gonna go one by one and talk a little bit about it. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna be like, why in the world would you use that? Okay.
Or how do you use that?
Let's go. What's the oldest thing on this table?
I feel like it's gonna be this.
No, I think this was older.
Oh, no, you're right.
All right, so this right here, this is the Michael Jackson Thriller album here.
Bodhi, I want you to know something. Michael Jackson is the bomb. He was the bomb.
He's the truth.
Unfortunately, he passed
He's still
away.
alive.
He's still alive in all of our hearts, but he is why Mommy danced.
This album is a thriller.
Right here. This album.
This is a vinyl. We don't think you're ever gonna see
Let's show
this.
him.
Well, okay, yeah, so this is a vinyl. The case of a vinyl.
This is what it looks like, and you put this on a record player.
Yes, this is a record, AKA a vinyl.
It's very thin.
And there's like a needle. There's like a needle that goes on it, and then it plays the music while this spins, and then you can hear it, the music. Back in the day when I first learned to DJ, I learned on these suckers. So that's a vinyl. Then moving forward in technology.
Can you tell whose is Mama's? This and this.
Yes.
Because it's Michael Jackson again. This is called a cassette, and it looks like this. It has two sides. Side 1 and side 2. Some say side A and side B.
So what this does, they had like this, it was like a box. It was like a Walkman, and then you would put it in the Walkman, and then you would listen to it, and we'll get to that next. You would listen to it, and it would play music, and then you would either have to take it out of the box, turn it around, and then put it back in the box. Oh, was it like that?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
'Cause it was thin.
I just never knew what, like, how could you tell if it was side 1 or side 2?
That was troublesome for
Yeah,
me.
because then like some
Unless you
Walkmans-
know
Yeah.
your music and you knew what was on each side.
But I always had the Walkmans that it would just flip it, like it would flip side A to side B, like
It
automatically.
was fancy.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't have that. Mama didn't have that. Mama's 5 years older than.
Okay, so yeah, you put it in there, and then in the Walkman, you would have what's called headphones. And then headphones would go like this, and then you would listen. What am I talking about?
Yeah, super loud.
You would listen to them with this. It's a cord. This is called a cord, and it would plug into the box with an is it focused? Hold on. With an auxiliary cord.
Say it with me, Bodhi. Auxiliary cord.
Auxiliary cord. So you would plug it in the box. This would be in the box and it would be playing, and then you would hold it, because at the time they didn't have straps, so just hold it in your hand, or you would put it in your pocket, even though it never fit in your pocket, and you would listen to music, and then hopefully you had the one that automatically flipped from side A to side B, so you can listen to both sides. And usually side B had like some extra stuff on it. It was always cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
What was your first cassette? Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
What was your first cassette you ever got? You're gonna flip when I tell you which one mine is.
I actually don't remember. That's how long ago it was.
All right, you ready for mine?
Usher.
Nope. No, definitely not. So my first cassette that I remember at least was Gangsta's Paradise.
No way! That's Mama's favorite song. I like know all the words.
Mama's favorite song.
That's
Gangsta's
my
Paradise
favorite
by
song.
Coolio. And then my second cassette that I remember,
So it was just a single.
it was just a single.
They had just singles. too.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's right.
Really?
You couldn't get a whole album, right? So I don't know, like as we're recording right now, you have like Spotify and Apple Play or whatever it's called, or Apple Music, and you can listen to music digitally, which means there's nothing physical to listen to. It's just like through an internet and computer. But back in the day, we had like these things where you can get albums, but these things really only had like 3 to 4 songs. Most of them only had one song. That's crazy. What was I saying? Oh, my second cassette was Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh my gosh, we don't need to talk to you about him.
Been
but-
spending most our lives living in an Amish
Bodhi.
paradise.
Anyway, so
Moving
next,
forward in technology.
we did these 3.
All right, so this one's a blank one, but this is called a CD. And what a CD does is everything that these things did, except they're not as big. And then the problem with these things is that like sometimes the inside of it is like this film stuff, and then it would get like distorted
It
or
would come
messed
out.
up, and then you'd have to. Oh, do you remember rewinding
With
it
a pen.
with like this? And you'd have to
pen.
stick, and go like this, and
Yeah.
then you would have to find somebody that you thought was smarter than you to fix it, but really all they did was just put their finger in and then turn it to tighten it. So yeah, the film in this would always mess up. So then they invented this thing. Hold it up, babe. That thing. A CD, which is a compact disc, and it would play your music there.
Whoa, what's that? Whoa, what's that? Whoa, what's that?
So it's like the vinyl record, but now it's smaller. Now the only problem that we had with these is that this side would get scratched. So you'd be listening to your song and then it would skip. And you'd be like, getting spent most of lives in it, living.
That's where the robot came in play.
I don't know if that's
I'm
true.
just kidding.
And then we would have CD players and Discmans, right? Discmans
Woo! I
was
used
like,
to run with that thing.
yeah, but you'd have to run with it like this. Like
Yeah.
like you'd have to hold it like this
Like
as
this.
you're running. Because it didn't have because it wasn't until like the late 90s that they had the hand thing.
And then the anti-skip.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever have the one that you would put around your neck?
No, never did
I
that.
had it where it was around your
That's
neck.
because Mom and Dad thought you were gonna lose it.
And then you would walk like this and hold your Discman, and then you had your headphones on. You'd listen like this, and that's how you listen to music. Oh, forgot to tell you. Okay, so this right here, because Daddy's a DJ. When I first started DJing, now a lot of DJs, they started with the vinyls, and that's how a lot of people still spit on the vinyls, but I got into DJing when it was transitioning from vinyl into CDs, and then I would have to carry around these little booklets, right, with all these CDs all organized, right? Oh, there's more to that story. So there was a time when you can only buy CDs that had stuff on it. But then with the computer, you were able to burn music. Remember that? Burn music, like take MP3 music, and you can make your own CDs. So then myself and a bunch of other people made their own CDs basically by burning their own music. And look at that. Wait, I'm not done. And I have a lot more cases that Mommy does not know about.
We're supposed to be getting rid of things.
Look at this. And look how organized I am. Look at this.
Daddy was organized
Look at
before he
this.
met Mommy.
And then on the flip side, and look, as a DJ, you always have doubles. Look how organized. Dang, this thing is heavy.
So that's the CD.
All right. So then, with the MP3, do you remember Napster?
Yes.
Napster, Kazaa, BearShare.
I don't remember those. Napster was the only one I remember.
Okay, so I was the only one stealing music. Okay, got it. So these are like programs that was invented for people to file share. They can share their music with each other, and then it basically turned into people stealing music. So then what people would do is that they would download the music, and usually it would take like 2 hours for one song
yeah.
because internet sucked back then.
Yeah.
Do you remember America Online? That's where dubstep came from. America Online. Okay.
Daddy's silly.
So then they would take the MP3s and they would put it on this thing.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
This is called a hard drive.
Oh, just kidding.
The ones that you see, or you may not even have them when you grow up because everything's in the cloud. This, as big as this only holds 250 gigs. It's pretty sad. But
like
this is how, feel how heavy that is. It's heavy, right?
That is super
heavy. So people would have to store their music and all their files in here. Now we put, like this is 256 gigs. This is 250 gigs. Which one do you prefer?
This one.
Okay, that's it, hard drives. Go to your favorite.
Since I'm a little older than Daddy,
A little bit.
these are called VHSs. This is one of Mommy's favorite shows growing up. How do I open it?
Well, that's how you open it? No, it's just slide out. Oh.
Nope, it's not one of those. This is a VHS.
It's like the cassette thing on steroids.
Yeah, basically. And these things, whenever it would mess up, you have to turn these things just to get the film back in its right place. But this, you would put into a VHS player.
Which is like this huge box.
And then once it hits the end of the tape, you would have to rewind. Hit the rewind button and wait till it rewinds all the way to the beginning.
That's the two triangles facing backwards. So no like scrolling with your finger and going to the beginning. That didn't exist back then. We had to actually hit buttons on the thing. And I don't know if you had it. Did you have the rewinder, the car rewinder?
What do you mean?
Like you had the VCR, but then you had a separate device that you put the tape in and it will rewind it for you.
In the car?
No, it was
oh yes!
It was shaped like a car.
Yes.
Yes, I had the race car rewinder.
Mine didn't look like a race car though, but it did rewind.
And then today people use like DVR, right? Where they can like record television. Back in the day, you had to put the tape in, you had to wait for it to start your show, record, circle and triangle, record and play.
Oh my gosh.
And then you would have to call somebody and then ask them to hit stop for you. Speaking of calling, I don't know what device will exist for you. But when Mommy and I were growing up, although we're a little bit of years apart, we had what's called a telephone. A telephone is this hunka-junka thing right in front of you.
You would have one at your house. Everyone really had one at the house. And what you would do is you would record a message. So when people called and you weren't home, you would have your voice on there saying, "You've reached so-and-so. Sorry we're unavailable, but please leave your name and a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can." Here's a cord, and you couldn't walk around the whole house with it because do you remember the one that had like the banana style?
Oh, yes.
And you can walk around the house with it, but it still was connected to the wall, so you couldn't go too far. Bunch of buttons.
Oh my gosh, look, Bodhi, buttons. Buttons. You can push buttons on there. This phone, all right, what were we talking about? Okay, phone. You couldn't go so far, so you were attached to it, and then you didn't have headphones to talk into or anything Bluetooth, so you'd have to do the whole shoulder thing.
Oh, and can you get me a pad and pen to write down a message?
And you remembered people's phone numbers because it would pop up on the screen and then you'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so, because you remembered it. Not like today or whenever you grow up where you don't remember anything.
Because you gotta actually type in the numbers.
Yes. Yeah, so it's not touch, it's actually push. You actually have to push buttons. It's crazy.
It's so insane.
Okay. I remember it would ring and like family would freak out.
Oh, and do you remember that if you were on the internet and the phone rang, completely cut you off the internet?
And you'd be like, Ma, get off the internet!
I'm trying to get
in the chat room, Ma. Mom, I'm in the chat room. Get off the phone. I'm talking to my pen pal. Get off the phone, Mom.
That's so funny. Wow.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Okay, next.
All right. So this one, you probably will.
You probably will, but
maybe not. I figure that most people don't even have books. So they just like read from the internet or their computers or their phones.
you can have books on your phone.
Or their iPad. Who knows? Those things might not even exist when he's older. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is called a book. A book is this.
And Mommy's gonna read you these when you're little.
A book has pages. I don't know if you're gonna know what paper is, but paper is basically nature.
Trees.
Yes.
Cut down.
Actually, we shouldn't say that. We shouldn't tell them that. That's
Paper is nature.
Paper is nature, but this is called paper, and these are called pages in a book, and you read the book. However, Daddy doesn't really like to read, even though he has to, because he has to study all the time. So Daddy likes pictures. So he just looks at pictures, and then he just makes up his own story.
He does all the time.
Mommy reads, and she's gonna read you these books. What are these books again? Oh, look at this one.
Green eggs and ham.
Dr. Seuss is a classic.
Plastic?
Classic. A classic.
It's a classic. These, I have a whole collection of when I was little that my mom collected for me from a grocery store called Publix. And I have a whole bunch of these, and I saved them just so that I can read them to you when you're a baby. So these, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, all that stuff for you.
Boom. All right, last two things. Most people, when they sign, they use their fingers, or they just like have touchscreen these days. So we only assume it's only gonna get worse. So just in case, we wanna introduce you to two tools that we've used from our childhood and even in our adulthood. And it may not exist when that time comes. This is a pencil, and this is a pen. A pencil is basically wood, and there's lead at the top, and you hold it in your hand
and you write
on paper your thoughts, your emotions. A lot of great songs were written with a pencil or a pen.
Now a pencil you can erase.
True.
Pencil has an eraser, so in case you mess up, you just erase it.
Yeah, it's like
undo
undo button on the computer, except you have to work.
Right. And the pen
is basically the upgrade of a pencil, but you can't erase it. It just looks cooler, and you can write with it. Same thing, but sometimes you would have to do this.
If the ink is running low.
Yeah, to get the ink down, and then.
Or have you ever done it with the tongue?
That's weird. Nah, never in my life. So yeah, you write with this. I hope that what was it called? Penmanship. Never dies, but just in case it does, know this is what you use.
All of this is what Mommy and Daddy used.
These are the many things that you may not know when that time comes. I don't know what that time is. I shouldn't say that. These are the many things that you may not know of when you get older.
But now, you will know. Because of us.
We love you.
We love you so much.
A message from Mommy and Daddy.
Love you.
Bible.